this is where I was saying, we're going to keep bringing in distinctions that are all meant to expand the possibility of workability. So in the technology of transformation, possibility, and enrollment, which is the technology that's at the heart of this work, so you're given access to inventing new possibilities for areas of your life that are important to you. But as you're probably beginning to notice, inventing new possibilities is only part of the process. So if you're in the forum, you invented new possibilities for yourself. If you're in the advanced course, you certainly invented new possibilities for yourself, or in the seminar. But that's only the beginning of the process. The real challenge is expanding on those possibilities and keeping those possibilities alive. So how many of you can get that for yourself? You can invent a possibility, no problem. The challenge is, how do you keep it alive over time? How do you expand on it, right? So, and as you're also probably noticing, it requires a high level of integrity to keep those possibilities alive. So why is that? Why is a high level of integrity, honoring your word, required for the realization of the possibilities you invent? Why is that required?
Well,
Shannon?
because if you don't keep your word, because most of the time these possibilities are only things you created for yourself.
And you created how for yourself?
It's just you created the possibility, but you created it like within yourself. So like, if you don't communicate it and you don't share it, and there's no accountability towards it, then if you don't have integrity with your own word with yourself, then the workability of it ever coming to fruition breaks down, because it's really you being accountable to you.
Okay, so if you only create it for yourself and it only lives for yourself, then maybe at best it's an insight.
Right.
But even, and then how do you actually create a possibility? What's the mechanism for creating a possibility? Your word, which is done in what? Your declaration in language.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So your word is critical to keeping the possibilities that you invent for yourself alive. So we're going to, because it's created in word. What happens when you speak words? What happens to the words the moment that you speak them? They're gone. They disappear. You speak it. There's no persistence to a word. You speak it, and then it's gone the minute you said it. So without an extraordinary relationship to your word, that's exactly how it'll be. You'll speak something, and then it disappears. So we're going to deal with another aspect of integrity. And some of you have already. It's already been showing a lot up in the seminar, especially as I'm having conversations with people. And the aspect of integrity that we're going to add now is existence. Existence. So by existence, we mean to have reality, to occur, or to be present. So existence is to have reality, to occur, or to be present. And so why people are weak at keeping their word over time and empowering their word over time is they've got a really weak relationship to existence. And by existence, I don't just mean that your word exists. So that would be one aspect of existence. So you speak something, and that word continuing to exist is one aspect. The other aspect is how your word exists. So the context for your word. So when I have a powerful relationship to existence, not only does it exist for me, it also exists in an enlivening and empowering way. So haven't you noticed you give your word to something, like your marriage vows, or your word to be in a seminar on time, and at the time you made that promise, you were totally enlivened by it. You were totally excited about it, like, oh my gosh, this is great, of course I'm going to be here every session, I'm going to be amazing, creating these amazing possibilities for myself. And then what happened to the existence of that context? Traffic, gone, it rained hard, work, I gotta make money.
My husband made me mad.
These things are so real.
So real, he doesn't understand what I'm dealing with here. Okay, it's too much, right? So we're lousy at managing the existence of anything over time, but especially our word. We're just lousy as human beings. We're just lousy at managing the existence of our word over time. So integrity lives in a conversation. And like I was just creating, the nature of conversations is that unless they're managed, the nature of conversations is that they go out of existence. Right? So the minute you say the words, they disappear as soon as you said them.
Can you repeat what you said about existence, about humans living in?
About, what existence is?
Existence, yeah.
Yeah, so not only that your word exists, but how it exists. And by existence, we mean to have reality or to occur or to be present. So it's that it has reality, but it's also the way in which it occurs. Okay? So, and then if I asked everybody to say what I just said, so how many people are in the room right now? There's like 40-something people in the room, okay? So however many people in the room, if I asked every person here, I would get 40-something different versions of what I just said.
Yes.
Because at best, your memory, so some people will say, well, just remember. No, you won't. Your memory is a horrible existence system. If you want to ensure that something goes out of existence, only keep it in your memory. And that way, it will definitely go out of existence. Your memory is just a horrible existence system.
It is.
So at best, it only retains what you think you heard or what you think you said. It might not even be what you actually said. So at best, it will only retain what you think you said. So there are state changes that happen in conversations. So, like I was creating. One day, a promise is powerful for you, and it calls you into existence. And the next day, what happens? It's just obligation. It's burden. Why did I even make that silly promise? What was I thinking? I must have been crazy. So I'm inviting you in this seminar to not only do what you said you would do because you said you would do it. That would be one level of integrity. But also to keep the promises you made in the seminar alive for you. And to not only keep them alive for you, but to keep them alive for you in a way that's empowering. So you're not just promising to be here just to be here. You're promising to be here because you've got some empowering context for that. And the context you could create is, I'm here because I want to create a relationship to Word. That's the source of designing a life of workability, freedom, and possibility. That would be an empowering context to have your Word, not just to be on time to be on time. I'm doing it because I want that. All right, so, and then I invite you to acknowledge any promise. Well, let's just check in. Okay, so just having created all that, let's just deal with the promises of the seminar. What's now an empowering context you can create for yourself regarding the promises? In other words, what would have those promises exist for you in a way that would actually be enlivening to you, for you, and not a burden? Yeah, Kunin?
I had a thought like, I can relate to them like, this will give me joy and aliveness in my life.
Okay, great. So your context for the promises is that's my access to joy and aliveness in life. Awesome. Okay, who else? Yeah, Dean?
Doing the homework will give me the aliveness to feel complete. Like I'm not just engaged with my group calls or my recreate sessions, but I'm engaged with that part, which is just as important as anything else.
Great. So doing the assignments will give me an experience of engagement and of being complete. Awesome. Yeah, Tori?
I missed last week, and I missed some good sharing, and no one recreated. Well, not that they didn't, but they could. There's just kind of, you have to be there. So for me, I need to be in seminar because someone may be sharing something, and that's an opportunity for me to get enrolled and possibly change something for my life. I may have a breakthrough, so I can't miss because I've got to hear what everyone has to share.
Great. So your being here is an access to you being enrolled and seeing something for yourself that somebody else shared that would actually be the thing in the seminar. It's like in your forum. It's like, you can go bathroom, manage yourself and go to the bathroom. However, just also be responsible for, that might be the 5 minutes, the most critical 5 minutes that you needed to hear. So as long as you can be responsible for that, no problem. Yeah?
Yeah.
Great, Tori, awesome. Let's acknowledge everybody who shared. All right, so I invite you to acknowledge any promises, like being at every session or doing your assignments, that have devolved for you to obligation or burden, and to regenerate your promises inside a commitment to be enlivened by your participation, just like people were creating for themselves. So if you're taking that on, please raise your hand to acknowledge that you're taking the promises on newly. So if you're now going to regenerate inside of the promises being an enlivening thing for you, raise your hand. Thank you. Okay, and then if you're not yet taking it on, I request you do so by the end of the session. All right, so, all right, we're going to complete on the assignment from last time and do some coaching. Let me just